All right, guys. Ready? Appreciate y'all joining us. Would like to thank our fans that made the trip to Bowling Green. We had a great turnout, and would also like to acknowledge the Sound of the South. They came and made it feel like a home field advantage on the road for us by doing the tremendous job they do when they show up. And so grateful for the crew that went with us to the game. Players of the week, offensive player of the week. 6 catches, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns, one of them receiving, one of them throwing. Tez Johnson, really proud of his effort and his growth throughout the season so far. Tez was limited a little bit during training camp with not a major injury, but a minor one, and I think it's kind of finally hitting his stride. Defensive player of the week, 4 tackles, 1 PBU. Does not really get targeted a lot, but when he did in our game, he responded the right way. Reddy Stewart, all right. And then special teams player of the week, played in 12 special teams plays, grayed out mid-80s, had a knockdown play, one relentless effort play, and a solo tackle, Damian Taylor. All 3 of those guys in-state products. Tez, Pinson Valley, Reddy went to Austin High School in Decatur, and Damian Taylor's from Tuscaloosa. So all 3 in-state guys. Job takers of the week, defensive look team player of the week, Justin Poe. Also another in-state young man, went to Davidson High School in Mobile. Offensive scout player of the week or job taker of the week, Robert Bruce, went to Park Crossing High School. And then special teams job taker, look team of the week, player Tay Meadows, went to Hanley High School in Roanoke, Alabama, also well known because that's my mother-in-law's alma mater. Would be in trouble if I didn't mention that. So all 6 players of the game or players of the week, in-state products, which is a really neat thing to see, and all earned it. Nathan Harris, John Johnson Service Award, player of the week. Really proud of this guy, Jabri Barber. And we've mentioned Jabri's name a lot because of the way he's played this year. Better people make better players. And Jabri does everything you ask of him the right way, day in, day out, with a great attitude. Did a couple things around the community last week, and then probably what won him the award, the cherry on top action that he did was we rode the bus back home from Bowling Green and arrived at 5 a.m. roughly, maybe 5:15, and he helped stay and clean up the buses, like make sure that the trash was off the buses. So really a testament to his character. When I'm going to be honest with you, when we arrived home, I was thinking about how quick could I find my house and get in bed. And then the Corey McCullough Spirit Award, Kyle Cole, was able to take him on the road trip. Kyle affects our team in so many ways, some of them on the field, many of them off the field. Tremendous attitude, great work ethic, as good of a human as you could want to be around. Love the value he adds to our team day in, day out. Just wrapping that game up, quality road win. All right, the team that was 9-5 last year and played in the Conference USA Championship, played in a bowl game last year and beat App State in their bowl game and scored 50-something points on App. A really explosive offense that had scored 30 points or more in 18 straight games, and we held them to 27, which is a great testament to our defense. Really could have played cleaner on defense and held them to less, but proud of the fact that we held them way under not just their scoring average, but they've scored 30 points in 18 straight games. That's a big deal for our defense to show up that kind of way. And then our offense scoring more on their defense than they had given up all year. They'd given up 33 in overtime to Indiana, so to score 34 is a great offensive production. Thought we played average in the kicking game, special teams wise. I still think that wasn't our best effort, wasn't the worst. Brooks did a good job with his kicks. Okay on punt, not great. Thought we were average in the kicking game. We still got a lot of room to grow there, and really in all facets of the game. We have not played our best football yet. Still a lot of room to grow. Moving on to Southern Miss, Southern Miss finished the 2021 season with 2 wins at the end of their schedule. Lost a really tough opening game to Liberty in several overtime game. So was in a really close game in game 1, like I said, versus Liberty week 1. Played Miami really close the whole first half. Was down 10-7 at halftime, but really they controlled the pace of play in the first half. And then have won their last 2 games. Beat an FCS team 2 weeks ago, and then went to Tulane at Tulane and beat them at the week after they beat Kansas State. So I think Southern Miss is a really much improved football team from last year, in particular the beginning of the year. You watch them play the beginning of the year last year, and then you watch them play at the end of the year. They grew a lot, and they've made some tremendous strides. Will Hall, the head coach there, does a really good job with the program, and he runs the offense and does a really good job. Then Austin Armstrong, their defensive coordinator, does some good things. Austin was with Kirby at Georgia, and then he's been around some good football, and he's calling some good things on defense with what they're doing schematically. Player-wise, they've got really good talent. They flipped their roster. Them and a couple other teams in our league flipped their roster significantly this offseason. Southern Miss is one of the ones that did it the best, I think. Frank Gore Jr., the running back, not a new player, a returning player who last year he did it all for them, and this year he's done it all when they need him to. Last year when they got into a tight spot, played quarterback. This year when they got into a tight spot against Liberty, played quarterback. Runs the ball with physicality, plays the game the way it's meant to be played. I have a lot of respect for how he plays the game. Janari Dean, their backup running back, is a Mississippi State transfer. Remember him out of high school, also a very talented kid. Currently, they're starting Zach Wilkie at quarterback, a freshman who I think is playing at a really high level for a freshman. Very impressed with his poise and how he operates within their system. Ty Keys is their backup quarterback who has started games for him at times there, and he played last week as well. Their slot receiver number 15, Jacarius Caston, is as dynamic of a receiver as we've seen. He's explosive. For being a slot, he's a little bit bigger bodied slot, but dynamic, man. He runs a lot of slot fades and slant routes that create mismatches for you defensively. He's very talented. Number 1, Jason Brownlee, is a really quality receiver. 82, Jalen May, I believe, is third in their team in catches. The tight end, number 33, has been productive. Latrell Jones, other receivers doing some good things. And then their O-line's probably built similarly to us. They've got one guy that's got really good length on their O-line, but really they're a thicker, bigger, more physical built O-line. And they play the game the right way. So a lot of respect for how they play the game on offense. Defensively, talented group, guys that stick out. Number 31, Dalen Gill. Both corners are really good players. Tylen Knight, their nickel, I actually coached him at Ole Miss. He's a really good player. Kind of reminds me of Tyrann Mathieu a little bit. Has sort of that kind of game. And then their D-line is loaded with transfers from Ole Miss, Arkansas, Memphis. They're big, physical. They've been really good defensively, statistically, over the last couple of years since their arrival at Southern Miss. So, quality opponent this week. Excited to be back in the Vet, play at home in front of our fans, back in the conference play. Last week was that win I told our guys about trying to get to a bowl game. This week's trying to get back into the conference conversation of, we want to return to the upper echelon of the Sun Belt Conference. We're not there yet. We hadn't done anything to be there yet. We're on our way there, hopefully, and this game goes a long way to help us get to where we want to be in conference play. So great opportunity at home, really good opponent, excited about being back in the Vet. With that, open it up to questions.
Hey, John, can you help us with an injury update?
Yeah, I probably can't give you all the details because some of them I fully don't know. Lewis Medina and Jade McDonald still out, no change there. DeAndre Lewis is looking better. Don't know if he's available this week. I feel really confident next week. This week I'm unsure. I don't know yet. They're seeing the doctors today, right now, actually. So some of this information I'll have better later today and then moving forward in the week. I would say Caleb Ransall is doubtful. I would say Gunner is questionable to probable, probably. And then I'd say Cholo is probable for the three guys that maybe had the most immediate stuff that happened in the game. When it comes to heads and necks, man, I treat every young man in our program first off like my own son, and I'm not ever going to push a guy to play before he's ready to play. Heads and necks, I'm going to be more cautious. Like, I don't care if they clear Caleb Bransall to play this week or not. I'm not letting him play. So that's my decision on that. I'm not going to allow it. The other guys that maybe got dinged in the game, I think was not significant maybe from the awareness, like felt good about their place right after it happened. We held them out of an abundance for precaution, to be quite honest with you. I think Cholo likely could have gone back in the game, and I think Gunner maybe could have, but we were being with an abundance of precaution there. So those two guys look great today. Caleb's the one that I'm not comfortable playing right now. So other than that, everybody else should be available. KJ Robertson was in and out of the game. Should be fine. We'll manage him like we have the last couple weeks. Carlton's tackling every ball carrier he sees, so I think he's back to normal. Craig Slocum was dinged a couple weeks ago just with a little bit of neck issue. Shoulder. More of like a trap, like a muscle thing. I think he should be fine. He played all game, looked good. We're at that part of the year where there's a lot of guys I could probably talk to you about them being injured, but they're not out injured. They're just, you got bruises because you play the game the right way with physicality. You're going to have some places that don't feel great on your body. So
one of the guys I wanted to ask you about, because the linebackers have been banged up a little bit. Terry Thomas is getting to play a little more. Can you tell me a little bit about his progress?
Yeah, Terry's a really smart young man. Runs really well. Not the biggest linebacker you're ever going to see, but does play the game with physicality. Good in space. I think he's growing as a player. I've been excited about his growth ever since we got here in January. Him, and then I'd also say Jordan Stringer is another one that I think is – Jordan had an injury during spring ball, and we weren't sure what his timeline was going to be back. And we didn't play him game one, but he's played in every game since then, and really impressed with both of those young men with how they're developing, and excited about their progression.
Coach, you just got done talking about Watson. Do you think we'll see Jarrett in the quarterback position? What do you think of his performance this last week?
Yeah, we'll know more what the rotation or who runs out to start the game at quarterback later today, tomorrow probably. And then performance-wise, you're asking about Jarrett and Gunner, or both of them, one individual? Which one?
I was preferably Jarrett, because obviously he came off the bench.
Yeah. I'm not surprised at all. He's invested a lot of time into his preparation. I've already told him when he gets done playing, I'll hire him to be an assistant coach really quickly. He is a football junkie. His dad's was a high school football coach. His dad's now an administrator. He's got all the stuff you want from really him and Gunner both do. I mean, they're both got the right mental makeup, and they love the game, and they love competing. But Jarrett, going into the season, led all of college quarterbacks that were active for touchdowns in a career thrown and passing yards. So for us to be in a position to have a guy here in our program like Jarrett is very comforting. And when Gunner had to leave the game, I thought, hey, we're going to be fine. Jarrett's ready to go. The biggest thing for him was getting here and learning the system and the terminology, because we do a lot of things offensively that are complex, maybe more so than some systems that are very simplified and just spread air raid teams. We have some spread air raid mechanics. We have some tempo plays that I think you saw in the third quarter. We ran some tempo that really helped tire their front out. So I think we're very multiple with what we do offensively. Therefore, you got to study the game at quarterback. And Jarrett's done an amazing job of that since coming in. I knew he wouldn't be fazed by the moment. He's been there, done that. His first snap, he dropped the ball on the ground. I think he got a little bit of ribbing maybe from their sideline and the fans. But he's a competitor. He's a tough kid. Love that he's in our program. Thought he played really well. 7 of 8, I think, for 71 yards. 7 of 8, 71 yards, and 2 touchdown passes. I don't know what that NFL quarterback rating is, but it's probably pretty decent.
Sumrall, Jamal Kennedy at WCFA and Montgomery. With Southern Miss now being in the Sun Belt Conference, Troy and Southern Miss haven't really played each other a ton, just 4 times all time. But do you maybe think that with them joining the conference now, that this could maybe be one of those big rivalry games, kind of like Troy and South, that has become in the upcoming years?
Yeah, it's very regional. It's not a long way from here. And I think both schools have great football history and tradition, and great passionate fan bases. And it makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense they're in the Sun Belt. I really do. I'm excited they're in the league. I think it's a good game for us and for them. We played them when I was here in 2016. We played them over there in a rain game and won. And then I know they played here in 19 or 20 and beat us here in a shootout. So I think that was 20 maybe. And then 21 last year, we beat them in a lower scoring game over there. So there's been some good back and forth in the few battles we have had with them. I think our football program and theirs are very similar history tradition-wise. I think they're a tremendous addition to our league. And I think they're doing a really good job. I think their program, the way they're running it, they're doing a nice job with what they're doing.
And then just one more for me. We talked about the guys who have stepped up and that next man up mentality. How proud of you, though, are you of those guys who've been able to come in those positions and make huge contributions to your football team and not only just contribute but help you guys win?
Yeah, I think the depth of your team a lot of times when you get to the middle of the season determines how far you can go. I'm going to challenge our whole team today in our team meeting about everyone has to prepare like a starter. And I think everybody saw how Jarrett performed when he got his opportunity on Saturday in the second half. Well, that's because he's prepared tremendously well, and he's worked extremely hard to be prepared for when that moment did present. And you don't know when your time's going to come. You don't know when your opportunity is going to come. And if you're prepared, usually good things happen. If you're not prepared, really hard for good things to happen. So the guys, I think, understand that when a guy goes down, I don't ever like seeing it. I want all our guys to be safe and healthy. But this is a game where you're going to have some attrition at times, and it is a next man up philosophy where you gotta have the next guy ready to go in, and the standard has to be the standard. We can't have a drop off.
Hey, Coach Josh is a messenger. Kyle Cash is another one of those guys that had to come off the bench and play a lot. How do you feel the way he plays, the way he's progressed since he got to Troy?
Yeah, Kyle is a very impressive kid athletically, big, physical, and can run. He's learning and growing every day at how to play the corner position. There was a couple of things in the game that I'm like trying to coach up on the sideline with Coach Pearson, our corners coach, to get him cleaned up on a couple of things. But he makes some plays. He's physical. He's got great length. He's got a very high ceiling. He's got to continue to work on his training and his detail and his technique to take the next step. But a very talented young man, and I think he's only going to get better and better the more reps he gets.